3 weeks ago, a businesswoman, Jean Bradley, was murdered beside her car in a suburb of West London. The tragedy made front-page headlines because it seemed so similar to another notorious and unsolved murder that happened 2 years earlier. The victim then was Penny Bell. In fact, detectives are reasonably confident there's no link whatsoever. But they do think Crimewatch viewers may be able to solve Jean Bradley's murder. And you're about to hear from 3 crucial witnesses and see for the first time a portrait of the killer. Jean Bradley lived in Crowthorne, Berkshire, with a teacher, Nicholas Osborne.
Yes, sunny.
I last spoke to Jean on the Sunday before she was killed. I was in Rome with the school trip.
What did the forum look like?
So she particularly asked me to check Rome out thoroughly because a week after I was due back, both of us were off to holiday in Rome during Easter week it was going to be. And she was actually very much looking forward to that.
Jean specialised in helping companies move premises. Her own office was in New Bond Street, 30 miles from her home.
When she moved to her new job in London, we had some trouble working out the best way to commute in.
Acton Town Station is just around the corner.
But she found that the best way was to drive halfway in and then take the fast tube line from Acton.
Yes, couldn't be more convenient, could it?
Seems a nice, respectable road.
Think the car would be safe here?
Jean was very keen to keep her car immaculate, and certainly the reason why we checked out the roads in which she parked her car was for the safety of the car. We had no idea, no views on sort of her own personal safety. It just simply wasn't that sort of area.
Jean had left work and travelled home on the Piccadilly line from Green Park Station. She arrived at Acton Town at about 7:20. Also driving home just then was a local carpenter. Jean had stopped off en route to buy a couple of cans of drink. Another commuter remembers passing her in Gunnersbury Gardens, and she recalls that no one else was in the street. Jean had parked her BMW in Carberry Avenue, just off Gunnersbury Gardens. It had been there since 7:30 that morning.
As I was driving down Carberry Avenue, I seen a man and a woman tugging at each other on the pavement. I see it was pretty serious, as the man was holding the woman down and kind of like standing all over her.
You kill him!
A woman and her son passing in a Ford Escort were able to follow the attacker.
I said to my son, oh, he looks as though he's done something. Come on, we'll follow him and see where he's going. He's quite a tall man and taking long strides, but he wasn't actually running away in any great hurry. He looked really odd because he had a silly hat on that looked a bit like a sou'wester. It's not the type of hat that you would wear around this part of the world. I was halfway down Gunnersbury Gardens when I was aware of this white van rushing up behind me, and I sensed that he was in a great hurry to overtake.
I think you better go and ring the police.
All right, mate. You just attacked a woman back there. Do you want to try it on with me now? Come on.
The man was very pale.
Come on, easy.
His cheeks were very drawn in, and he had a darkish stubble, possibly 2 days' growth. He was very cold. He could stare right through you.
You want to take me on?
As he came towards me, he raised his hand, which had a black bag wrapped. I didn't know what he had in it. It seemed pretty rigid.
The 2 men ran off into Gunnersbury Lane, just off the North Circular Road. The woman in the Ford Escort was able to get ahead of them.
I had a very good look at the tall man as he was approaching me to cross the road. He was a good 6 foot to 6'3". The van driver was a pace or 2 behind him.
That man there, he's after attacking a woman. Call the police.
At this point, I decided it was best to go home and make sure that my son had called the police, and I just watched them head off towards Acton Town Station.
Police badly need to trace everyone who saw this chase, including people the carpenter called upon to help.
This white Golf convertible came down on the road. He was a Rastafarian, and I was asking him to give me a hand.
Can you give me a hand? What's he look like? He's got a white coat and a black hat. Can you give me... Oh, forget about it.
The chase had now been going on for nearly a mile.
I think the tall man thought he lost me. I hid behind a tree and hid behind a car and things like that, the way he wouldn't think I was following him. He didn't look back very often.
The attacker went into South Acton Estate. It was nearly 7:45 and several more witnesses now must have seen him. Police need all these people to come forward. Attempts to revive Jean failed. She died of multiple stab wounds from an 8-inch blade. At the edge of the estate, the carpenter almost caught up with her killer.
He looked back and saw me, and he started to run again. I thought all along that he wasn't a very fit man, because when he came to the end of the estate, there's a railing, and normally if you're a fit person, you'd jump it. But he didn't jump it. I went to run across the road, and this car came around, possibly a R.I.P. I hesitated because it was a bit close and didn't slow down. I ran. He ran right around the corner. When I got down to the corner, raggedy close, I could not see the man anymore.
Have you seen it? You see a guy coming running down
But
here?
unknown to the carpenter, one man had a clear view of the killer's next move.
The man I saw was definitely on edge because he was moving backwards and forwards in the doorway.
Go and get the police.
He had a cream 3/4 length parka, jet black hair, black trousers. They were short because they were flapping above his ankles. He was definitely flat-footed. He was looking around him and trying to figure out which way would be the best way to get out of the estate. He was carrying a black bag in his right hand. He had a very, very tight grip on it, and he never let go of it once. I started to realise that there was something wrong, and by that time, the tall man had gone.
The attacker was last seen walking up Buckland Walk, 1.5 miles from where Jean Bradley had been stabbed. Bob Fenton, where did he go from Buckland Walk, do you know?
Well, he was heading towards Acton High Street, but I'm not only appealing for people in that general area, because he could have deviated off the route. I'm also appealing still for people who actually saw the carpenter chasing the man. That's from Carberry Avenue, past Acton Town Tube Station, and through the South Acton estate.
And we ought to make it clear, many of them wouldn't, or most of them wouldn't have had any idea what had happened. They wouldn't have realised why he was chasing him.
No, they wouldn't, but they would, if they were there, they would have probably noticed something going on.
What was this guy's motive? Have you any idea at all?
There's no apparent motive whatsoever. There is nothing stolen. He's certainly a strange character, and he's probably this man come to the notice of the national agencies for helping people, such as social services, psychiatric, drink, drugs, and maybe even he's bought his clothes in charity shops. That's the sort of thing we believe he's possibly doing.
So anybody who's a nurse or works in a rehabilitation unit or anything like that, not necessarily in this area, you really want them to rack their brains? Do they know him?
Yes, we're seeking help for anybody that can
He's a
assist.
sort of tall, thin, rather ungainly sort of fellow. What else do you know about him?
He's very, very, very gaunt man, and that sticks out most particular.
Doesn't even look after himself very well. There's a bit of a growth of beard. And
Yes, he had about a 2 days growth of stubble. He's well described on the programme.
And this hat he was wearing, this is a fairly sort of similar sou'wester type of thing. Very weird because it was a dry night, very cold but dry.
Yes, it is a strange. Everyone's commented on this hat in particular, and obviously we would appeal to anyone that knows someone that fits a general description and has or even wears a similar hat.
Now what's just emerged today, I think, is what could be a crucial clue, a fragment of plastic that you recovered from the murder scene. Now, describe why this is important. This bit that we're seeing here is the recovered fragment. It's what, about 8 inches, 9 inches across, 21 centimetres or so.
Yes, that's foreign to the scene. It doesn't come from the victim or anybody that attended the scene, so you can only assume it comes from the attacker. It's possible that this is part of a bag that was wrapped around the weapon, the knife that was used, and perhaps Jean, the victim, actually ripped and snatched it at the time of the attack.
Very distinctive, this sort of logo on it. And also, if it was your boutique this bag was part of, or your shop, or if you printed or made this bag, maybe you'll recognise this S, or the writing, the printing that's very small on there. As you can see, this shows where it was made and printed in the United, something like the United Arab Emirates, United States, United Kingdom or something like that, and a potential new witness that you're now trying to trace.
Yes, we now know that around the time the murder happened, there was a street vendor knocking door to door in Carberry Avenue. He's described as a 20-year-old. We don't think he's involved in any way whatsoever. I'm interested to speak to him because he could have seen this man loitering around. Clearly he was in the street for some time. I've got to point out, I'm not interested in prosecuting for any offences out of his trading from door to door. I simply want his information if he has any.
OK, this is 3 weeks ago tonight. Incidentally, there's a very substantial reward of £20,000. Also, if you live in the South Acton estate, there's a mobile police station on the estate. It's near the Prince of Wales pub at the corner of Church Road and Ragley Close, and it's open until 1 o'clock tonight. The lines here are open until at least midnight on 081 811 8181, 081 811 8181. If you think you recognise this man or can tell us anything about it. If you want to call the Murder Inquiry Room direct, the number there is 0895 254833. Please ask for the incident room at Ruislip on 0895 254833.